Now we come to one of the highlights of our commencement, the student address. Each year, members of the graduating class apply to be given the honor of addressing their classmates and guests. The Commencement Speakers Committee is tasked with selecting a student speaker among many worthy applicants. It is always a very difficult choice to make, and this year was no exception. I am happy to introduce this year's committee's choices. First, for the day division, Christopher Binns. Christopher Binns, a native of Brooklyn, New York, is motivated by public service and social justice. Believing that the law can be an equalizing force, he's interested in public service initiatives, social justice, criminal justice, and civil and human rights. Christopher is affiliated with the Justice Action Center's Racial Justice Project and the Moot Court Association. After graduation, Christopher plans to practice as a civil rights attorney.
Hi, everybody. Dean Buckler, Dean Crowell, Mr. Feinberg, trustees, faculty, staff, families, and fellow students. So, we were having lunch a couple of months ago in Cortland, Alabama, on break from a very long meeting. We being students and a professor from the New York Law School's Racial Justice Project and an attorney from the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. We found ourselves ignored by a waitress who offered all her comments and water to the only white person in our group of 4. Now, this occurrence was interesting because we were in Alabama working on a school desegregation case. Yes, I know it's very hard to believe. In 2012, I said school desegregation. But the case, it dragged on for decades. And here we are, law students affecting lives. The client interview simulations in our first-year lawyering classes, it struck many of us as the perfect waste of time. However, in this instance, it prepared me perfectly for a fact-gathering community meeting we had the night before. The next day, we had a dispute with opposing counsel. We argued that the Supreme Court case, Singleton versus Jackson, placed no limit on the number of minority teachers the school board had to hire. Opposing counsel argued that it placed a maximum number. But what they were really saying was that they weren't going to hire any more minority teachers, and the law couldn't do anything about it. The dispute felt like a con law class where we sought to parse out the court's holding. But this had real consequences. And here we are, just students, making a difference, because NYLS taught us skills and provided opportunities to hone those skills. Now, of course, they were dead wrong in their interpretation of the law, but they were right in another respect. Here we are, fighting for equal education, and we can't even get a glass of water. Bottled up in that single moment was the law's great power and great limits. We've come so far, but we have so much further to go. And I've had so many memorable experiences here. We all have. Pizza at the oddest hours and with the oddest people. But along the way, I've had help, lots of it. Students and professors such as Professor Deborah Archer exemplify why I came to law school, which is to learn law and take action. These experiences and relationships have led me to a federal clerkship and a public service job after graduation. But that's my path, and we each have our own. Whether it's the financial industry, intellectual property, real estate, or hanging out your own shingle. The law school has been our guide, giving us a sense of our journey. Every time we walk outside 185 West Broadway, we refuse to let others to tell us what we're capable of. We show them time and time again that we are smart and the hardest working students out here. We understand the struggle, the grit, and innovation needed to thrive in this profession. We define our own capabilities and write our own stories, and we do this every single day. Of course, things could be easier if the economy fared better, but NYLS students wouldn't be NYLS students if we weren't able to overcome these struggles. But most importantly, as we cross the finish line and discover with excitement that it's actually the starting line, we must remember each other because we know what it takes to get to this point, and it isn't easy. We know what we're capable of and what NYLS has given us. And dare I say it, when Alumni Affairs comes calling, we must support our alma mater as our alumni have supported us. And so, my fellow students, and I'm so pleased and proud to have been your fellow student, as we strive to become great lawyers, we must pledge to ourselves to remain good persons, to remember NYLS and each other as we live out the stories of our lives and test the limits of the law.
Thank you, Christopher. Our next speaker, Joshua Brookstein, is a graduate of the Evening Division. Josh was born and raised in Philadelphia and is a proud graduate of the Philadelphia Public School System, where he served on the Philadelphia School Board as its student advisory member. After graduating from Muhlenberg College in 2003, Josh joined Teach for America and taught 6th grade before becoming an assistant principal. He earned a master's in teaching from Fordham University in 2005 and a master's in education from Bank Street College of Education in 2007. Josh pursued his interest in litigation through summer internships while at New York Law School at the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, the New York County District Attorney's Office, and the New York City Law Department. He will join the New York City Law Department as an assistant corporation counsel in September. Josh.
Interim Dean Buckler, incoming Dean Crowell, the Board of Trustees, members of the faculty and staff, honored guests, families and friends, and most importantly, the graduates of the class of 2012, good morning and welcome to the 120th commencement of New York Law School. It has been an honor to study alongside my colleagues, and it is a privilege to speak to you today as a representative of the most dedicated, caring, thought-provoking, and humorous group of people I have ever met, this year's Evening Division graduates. 4 years ago, we embarked on a journey we knew would be long and difficult. A journey that would require more than just hard work and countless hours spent in a library. Success would require the unwavering commitment from our spouses and partners, our families and friends, and even our bosses and coworkers. Our achievement today and our impact on the future are due in large part to your love and belief in us, and for that, we are grateful. For an Evening Division student, the path to commencement was filled with the challenges of time and balance. How can we possibly read and understand all of this information before class while working a full day? How are we going to balance our professional responsibilities, our commitments at home with our families, our internal drives to be successful, all with the need for sleep, nutrition, and yes, even a little fun? As a former teacher, I would tell my students that if you don't know more than 5 words on a page, the book you are reading is too difficult, and you should choose another. So imagine how I felt when I sat down with my contracts book, and not only were there more than 5 words I did not know, it took what felt like 30 minutes just to get past page 1. For a split second, there was a thought that this would be impossible, that the workload would be unbearable, the sacrifice too great, and the rewards too uncertain. Instead of giving up, instead of passing on a dream of a law school education, I, like many of my Evening Division brothers and sisters, took a breath, bought a Snickers bar, cracked the spine of my new Webster's and Black's Law dictionaries, and said to myself, bring it. Bring it. That's what Evening Division students did every night of law school. We traded studying in the library for quiet subway cars, closed office doors, stairways, spacious office bathrooms, and even under desks in pre-final preparation situations. We maximized every minute of the day, working smart to achieve not only in the classroom, but in the boardroom, office, trading floor, construction site, theater stage, or countless other work locations where evening students spent the first part of their days. Our desire to learn law was met with an equally compelling fire to take action and make an immediate and meaningful impact on our community. And as evening law students and working professionals, we said, bring it. Evening division students have made a lasting impact on both the law school and the community at large. The opportunity to synthesize what we were learning in class with our career and life experiences has allowed us to build on and create meaningful opportunities to learn law and take action. As an assistant principal in the South Bronx, I was eager to integrate my studies with New York Law School with my professional work and brokered a partnership with the Justice Action Center's Street Law Project. To date, New York Law students have taught over 300 middle school students about their Fourth Amendment rights. For 10 weeks, scores of New York Law School students dashed out of early Friday classes, took vacation days, leveraged flex time at work to travel to the middle school and teach the students about the law. Not only were the law students deepening their knowledge of the law by applying what they have learned, but served as examples of how to translate knowledge of a subject matter into concrete action. It was a great feeling when one of my students first questioned me about the school's right to search their lockers or book bags, citing the absence of probable cause or reasonable suspicion. That's right, middle school students using the terms probable cause and reasonable suspicion and knowing what they mean and making a logical inquiry. Or the time during our moot court simulation where one of my most energetic students responded articulately, calmly, and with poise to a senior partner's question that not even a second-year associate could answer. Whether it was participating in the guardianship project, establishing the Labor and Employment Society, mentoring high school students as they engaged in legal debates on some of our country's most contentious issues, serving on law review, holding leadership positions in school organizations, or vigorously advocating in court as part of a prosecution or legal aid externship, evening students have aggressively sought out and created opportunities not only to build their practical knowledge of the law, but to leave a lasting impact on the law school community. For 4 years, we got together every night, not only to learn the law, but to share our experiences, offer our perspectives, and challenge one another. Our group has had the opportunity to view the world through artists, lobbyists, parents, human resource specialists, paralegals, financial service professionals, comedians and teachers, subway operators, accountants, web developers, police officers, and entrepreneurs, just to name a few. While it was often our professors who posed intricate hypotheticals in class, it was our colleagues who pushed us to be reflective listeners, active listeners, reflective about our values and beliefs, and strategic when crafting and delivering arguments. It has been and will continue to be our colleagues who have helped us through market downturns, personal crises, and fear of the unknown. Our breadth of experiences, our deep sense of collegiality, and our shared experience of conquering law school at night has given us a competitive advantage to be reckoned with. Regardless of whether we practice law in the traditional sense, we are prepared to leverage our degree, our experience, and our relationships to deepen our impact on the world. A host of economic, social, and political challenges await us, and as the next generation of doers and decision makers, and now law school graduates, we say, bring it.
Thank you, Josh.